escape to look forward to, you get a gift delivered today. Sorted. Visit sparbrakes.com and enjoy 10% off with code RADIO.
Feel that thrill. And get on track at Team Sport Indoor Karting. Grab your mates for an adrenaline-fueled, action-packed drive. Share the experience of the track as you, your mates and colleagues race through every straight, ramp and corner. Or give the gift of awesome to the thrill seeker in your life with an epic karting experience voucher. This Christmas, feel like a champion at Team Sport Indoor Karting. Check out team-sport.co.uk.
This Christmas at Tesco, 24 cans of Pepsi Max are just £6.25. That's down from £11.50 with your Tesco Club card. Finding great prices. That's what makes it Christmas. Tesco, every little helps. Majority of large stores excludes Northern Ireland ends 31st of December. Club card or app required.
Ready to switch your play? Live Score Vegas is your go-to destination. Explore a huge selection of top-tier slots and live casino games. And for new players, there's a special welcome. Play £10 on slots and unlock 100 free spins on King Kong Cash. Even bigger bananas, Jackpot King. Step straight into the action and search Live Score Vegas today. New customers only. Waiting in 7 days of sign-up. 10 pence spin value. Valid 3 days. C&Cs and deposit exclusions apply. 18 plus. Bet responsibly. Gambleaware.org.
All sport traffic. On Stapleton in North Yorkshire, the A66 Bridge Road eastbound is partially blocked due to a broken down vehicle. From the A66M Stapleton to Grange Road at Darlington, Greater Manchester, the M60 anti-clockwise 1 lane's closed, queuing traffic due to an accident. From junction 13 Worsley Brown to 12 the Eccles interchange, Gloucestershire, the M5 eastbound, the exit slip road closed due to a vehicle moving time changes to that.
Transits, Rangers and more, with great deals across 3,000 vehicles down your savings soar. To explore our range of offers for a vehicle that feels right, with comfort and tech to brighten your night. Trustboard's winter sale won't last. Don't delay. With Trustboard now, you can drive away today. Visit your local Trustboard dealership or visit online at trustboard.co.uk.
We're the home of the festive 50. This side is shaking, giving you the gift of football this December.
Oh, would you believe it?
A whole month stuffed full of festive football. It is game on here, live in Coventry, as some of December's biggest days. The festive 50 on Talksport and Talksport 2.
I don't know where that's come from. There's one listener saying, didn't I hear at the top of the show, guys, that Danny's leaving the show at the end of the year? Surely not. Danny's great listening, says Danny in Weymouth. Danny in Weymouth, Danny is going nowhere. Danny's a big part of what we do. Danny is here. Nobody said that. I was in the studio at the time. Nobody said that.
Yeah, I think it was through on a 7
Yes, yeah. We're not on next Wednesday. Because we're so close to Christmas, Sam and I are at Carlton. That's what that was all about. Oh, I know. Any requests? Defeats and 3 Celtic travel to Dundee United tonight. Wilfred Nancy. Nothing to prove or everything to prove. My God, there's a guy just in the door and under a whole heap of pressure, you would think. We'll get to that. Let's stay with this. Aki is a Chelsea fan, and just before the break, you heard me. I put it out there that Chelsea, a third semi-final in 18 months for Maresca, is that a track record you can't ignore? You might want to have your say on that. But I want you to have your say on what Maresca has been up to in recent days. One moment saying that the last 48 hours had been the worst of his Chelsea career, and then totally being still on that and saying nothing more on it. Simon thinks for one that he might have done himself. What do you think?
Morning, Jim. Morning, Simon. Morning, Danny.
Morning.
Just what's happened in the last 48 hours at Chelsea is exactly what these owners at Farley and Boyle brought to the club. Maresca's got every right to express his views and say how he feels. He's giving 100%. He's passionate for the club. He got us in the Champions League. His track record, he earned his right to speak. But what we got at Chelsea, since those two owners took over, is absolutely shambles of recruitment and the way they do things. The last 4 years, It's been absolutely horrendous. We have Pochettino, we part ways because he disagreed with them. Now we got Maresca. He's trying to speak and say his views, so hopefully they will listen to him so he could take Chelsea to the next level. But the owners, they don't want to listen. And that's exactly what's happening now. And the Chelsea fans fed up with Ekpali and Paul Boyle.
Yeah, but Aki, under Bowley and Ekpali, you're in a third semi-final in 18 months, and you won the Club World Cup.
Yeah, but
what?
The way they do things, we will never win the Premier League or the Champions League under these current owners. They're signing young, unexperienced players. We're lacking the experience. And the way they do things, I'm sorry, this is not the way forward. They wasted all this money on the players. And you look at the Chelsea squad, it's so weak at the minute. Apart from the first 11, 12, 13 players, the rest of them, they're not for that level.
But Aki, I'm going to let Simon come into this, but do you not accept that Maresca, to a large extent, has opened a can of worms and now is finding it slightly tricky, shutting it all down?
Well, let it be. It has to be said. And wait and see. They won't leave it there. They probably sack Maresca and say we part ways because we're not happy with the current situation. Exactly what happened and what they did with Pochettino, because they wanted to sell Chalobah and they wanted to sell someone else, Chalobah and someone else.
Well, Simon, Aki is saying that Maresca's earned the right to speak his mind.
He has earned the right to speak his mind, to be honest. He's earned that right, absolutely, to have a frank exchange of views with the owners and to have a very definite set of thinking. Of course, if he took a job under a certain auspice and they pivoted off that, I would imagine the conversations that he had with the owners are not dissimilar to the way that the owners are asking him to operate. So he knew the parameters of the job that he was undertaking. He has absolutely the right to say, well, actually, I think I've earned a little bit more trust. I think my opinion should be more prevalent. I think there should be a balance between young players and more experienced players. So I understand your model of building up younger players and potentially making them more inherently valuable to the football club. Ultimately, Chelsea will become more valuable by winning things, not by building and selling players that will form part of their thinking like it will in any football club. He's earned that right, so I don't disagree with that, Keith. But what he hasn't earned the right to do is do it in the public domain, because that makes him a fool. That makes him a hostage of fortune. That makes him a disrespectful individual that wouldn't expect his players, if they didn't like what he was doing, to go into the public domain and talk about him in the way that he's talked about his owners.
Also, he didn't really say anything. He was too vague. You know, if you're going to go out, or you're going to speak your mind, say what's on your mind, but don't do it at all. Simon's right. He should have just spoke to the owners directly. The problem is he's now put himself in a position where, you know, he's going to be fragile in his position if the results don't go well because of the outburst as well.
This is gathering pace. Mark's a Chelsea fan. Mark, good morning. According to Aki, and you heard them, under Bowley and Ekpali's model, you're not going to win the Premier League or the Champions League. Do you agree with that?
Listen, we're all grown up, so I don't know whether I agree with that or not. What is clearly happening, though, and Simon will know this, what's clearly happening is that Enzo Maresca has hired Jorge Mendes, one of the most powerful people in football, to look after his interests, and they're engineering his way out of the club, which is why I said it all in public, because he is engineering his way out of the club, which is, let's make no bones about this, an absolute tragedy for Chelsea. Absolute tragedy.
For what reason would he be doing that?
Because there's an old expression, which I'm not going to give you the whole thing because it's on public radio, but it's basically, he's saying to the owners, he said to the owners after they criticised him because of the bad one against the Atalanta, he said to them, don't pee on my shoes and tell me it's raining. They've not given him the tools to do the job he needs to do. They didn't give him a striker last Christmas when he desperately needed one. They didn't replace Colwell. They've given him no proper backup. But Enzo Cucurella and Caicedo, who'll be crushed to death by the amount of time they're playing. And he can't do the job they're saying to do. That's fine, he's doing his best. But when they come to him and criticise him and say this is not good enough, he's had enough. So he's out. He's clearly got a bunch of serious offers for him from other European clubs, from big European clubs, and he's gone. And it's an absolute tragedy because he is the
in the words of many top pundits, among the very best managers in the world, and it's a disaster because now we're going to get some other schlepper who just do what the Brighton sports director's telling to do.
Mark, just before you leave us, Sam said the other day, I think I'm right there, that Maresca doesn't get anywhere better than Chelsea.
Well, it's difficult to see.
His engineers way out.
Whether Jorge Mendes is able to work the Oracle is basically. And again, I don't see him. I mean, obviously with Madrid and Alonso's a challenging position, but I don't look at Maresca in the same way that Nicole does. I think he's done a decent job. I don't look at the observations in the same way, not because I can't move from my position, because I've got my own view and I can't move from it. I think there's a decent squad there. I think there's a decent group of players. I think that ultimately there may be some observations they could have done things better at certain times, but you name the ownership model that couldn't do things better, and I'll name one that's better tried. Yeah. Full centre forward. They've got an embarrassment of riches. Maresca's been given a huge opportunity. His credentials were to get a highly paid group of Leicester players back into the Premier League, and they've been given an opportunity at Chelsea. And if he was given the opportunity under the auspice and under the caveats that against the way they run the football club, he kind of has no business moving away from the blueprint that he must have been given. Yeah, he took the job.
Mark finishes off for a second. Final point from you, Mark, on you go.
Simon, I hear you and I love you, but let's not be silly. You're representing the owners, I'm representing the fans. What you're saying is absolute nonsense. Of course he took the job with open eyes, he knew what the parameters were, and he felt that he was going to be good enough and clever enough.
Change their view.
So, exactly.
Yeah, I hear that too, Mark.
But I'm not able to do it. He hasn't been able to do it, now he's out. My guess is Juventus.
That might be, you might well be an educated point of view. I'm not representing the owners. What I'm doing is giving us different points of view and having been one. Because you can represent talking about the fan. I can talk about being a fan. I can also talk about being an owner, and it gives a different balance to the conversation. But I don't disagree with some of the thinking. I just think Maresca is a fool for operating the way he did. I think also as well, although you might be right, the reality is, even if he walks into another job with a big club, he's not going to have the same tools he's got to take. They've got a hell of a squad. Yes, he's inexperienced, but he's more or less, apart from a little bit imbalanced defensively and covering centre-half. Yeah. You know, he's saying there's no covering midfield. I mean, they spent 50 million on landing. Well, watch this space. If the caller's insight is right, then we'll see him land at Juventus. We're watching closely. But bear in mind, a third semi-final in 18 months for Maresca and Chelsea. And right now, before they head to Newcastle on Saturday, they sit fourth in the Premier League. We shall see. 10:30 this Wednesday morning, and we're live in TalkSport with Selco with the trade goes.
Rise and tuned on TalkSport with Selco. For the latest special offers, pick up this month's wheel deals in France or view online at selcobw.com.
When it comes to sports betting, it's important to cool off and play safe. Set deposit limits to control your spending. Set timeouts when you need a break. And set reality checks to know how long you've been playing. Showtime ain't always go time. Stay safe, players, at BetMGM.
18 plus, please gamble responsibly. Rumour has it Alicia's Just Eat order could win her one of millions of prizes. Honestly, they're giving away tens of thousands in cash, smartphones, Just Eat vouchers, and lastminute.com vouchers worth up to $5,000. That's why she's in holiday mode on her sofa, whilst dressed in a bikini. 18 plus, GB only, £5 minimum spend on app, excluding fees. Price restrictions and fees apply. Ends 4th of Jan, full terms online. It's the last chance to get yourself a ticket for tonight's Lotto draw.
It could be you.
Lotto from the National Lottery. Rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or older.
What makes the best roast dinner is deeply personal, and we've all got strong opinions on whether it's best beef or chicken, roasties or mash, and if cauliflower cheese really belongs. It doesn't, by the way. But one thing isn't up for debate. A roast is always better. Deliciously crispy, fluffy, Paxo stuffing. The roast isn't the roast without Paxo, the original stuffing, lovingly crafted since 1901.
Ready to switch your play? Live Score Vegas is your go-to destination. Explore a huge selection of top-tier slots and live casino games. And for new players, there's a special welcome. Play £10 on slots and unlock 100 free spins on King Kong Cash. Even bigger bananas, Jackpot King. Step straight into the action and search Live Score Vegas today. New customers only. Wait in 7 days of sign-up. 10 pence spin value, valid 3 days. T&Cs and deposit exclusions apply. 18 plus. Play responsibly. GambleAware.org.
Good morning, it's Emma Kerwin with your headlines. Striking resident doctors need to grow up. That's what one senior doctor has told us as a 5-day walkout over pay and conditions is underway.
I don't think any doctor going strike today can genuinely say their action is going to do no harm.
That's Dr. Aaron Gersh. With rising flu cases, the Health Secretary's warned of a tidal wave of infections. But the BMA has rejected claims patients will lose their lives as a result of the walkouts. A 15-year-old boy's been charged with the murder of a 9-year-old girl in Somerset. Ari Thorpe was stabbed in Weston-super-Mare on Monday evening. There's a warning the driving test backlog won't be cleared until 2027.
So cold,
the DVSA had planned to put driving test waiting times to 7 weeks by the end of this year, but the National Audit Office inquiry says there's not enough examiners. It comes after our investigation last month revealed a thriving black market for fake driving tests as learners struggled to get a slot. We even caught a scammer.
Tell me, what's the proof that it's not legit?
I've got a cyber expert who's just had a look. I'm a journalist and I know that you've been scamming people. What would you say to them? Why are you profiting on?
The government's deploying military driving examiners and limiting test swaps to try to bring the waiting list down. And a deal's been done to keep Britain's biggest chemical plant at Grangemouth open, securing around 500 jobs. Its owners getting £120 million from the government.
Talk sport with Bostik. If you're looking for professional grade sealant that offers technologically advanced performance, choose Bostik Pro Sealants.
The company behind the Ashes, Snicker, admits human error allowed Alex Carey a reprieve, and our Maresca's Chelsea days numbered. Nick Hasmore at 11.
Christmas 2025 on Talk Sport. You're sick of Michael Bublé, so you hide under the duvet. Tune your radio to a football show. Christmas in a TalkSport wonderland. Christmas 2025 on TalkSport. The Egos have landed.
White and Jordan
on TalkSport.
Good morning, everybody. Wednesday, December the 17th is Jim White, Simon Jordan, and Danny Murphy, and we are live on Talk Sport. Thanks for all the messages, all the calls that come into the show every morning, because without those, it wouldn't be the same show, would it? We have plenty of calls on this. FIFA, the prices of tickets for next summer's World Cup. And amidst this backlash over ticket prices, and it was a very-old backlash, FIFA, what do you know, has announced the introduction of a supporter entry tier. And in that area, tickets would cost £45 for each game at the tournament. So £45 tickets. FIFA have just introduced this, albeit it will represent 1.6% of the total tickets available for each match. And that would equate to around 1,000 tickets per game. So it's not much, but it's something. With most of the World Cup stadiums in the US, Canada and Mexico, remember, holding more than £60,000. The rest of the categories and the prices, and some of them are more than hefty, remain unchanged. But now we've got 1,000 tickets per game coming in at 45 quid. Simon, have FIFA been forced into a partial climb down here?
I don't know whether it was an initiative they were going to do or whether they've been forced into it. It doesn't really matter. The fans have got some degree of opportunity to watch the world's biggest football tournament at a price that they will find a bit more palatable. I'm sort of empathetic to both sides of the argument.
What?
I'm empathetic to both sides of the argument. I understand why football fans want to pay as little as they possibly can.
Of course.
And I understand why FIFA want to charge as much as they possibly can.
Yeah, not to the point of obscenity.
Well, it depends what you think is obscene. It depends whether you think that the greatest football show on earth that has scarcity at its centre, that gets played once every 4 years, playing in the most capitalist country in the world, with the proceeds supposedly going for the well-being of football, is an atrocity. I don't, because I'm a commercial animal.
£3 grand for the cheapest ticket for the final, I think is borderline obscene. It's 7 times higher than in Qatar.
Here, but as we discussed yesterday, we know that the motivations for the Qatar World Cup were slightly different. They had a different agenda attached to them, which was utilising sport for different reasons.
They've been forced into this year.
And
this
they
is a climb down.
And they may well. And they may well do. They may well be put into a position where they've reacted, as most organisations should do to some extent, when there's an inherent level of imbalance in some of the outcome. I accept that. But this is a commercial proposition. It's at its centre, and whilst we don't trust FIFA, and they are an opaque organisation, and people like Fair Square that came on and hold them to account are useful pressure groups that keep them honest, quote unquote, there is a capitalist nature of sport which drives its undercurrent, which is all about economics. The players are the predominant beneficiaries of it, and ultimately FIFA's function in life is to redirect all its finances into the well-being of the development of the game, and that's what their blueprint is. And there was no secret to this. This blueprint, this argument now about the bid document, it's a funny little argument because I remember Donald Trump saying when he went for this World Cup and convincing FIFA that they would get 15 billion out of it. Now this was 5 years ago. So there's no surprise. It had to be underpinned by something.
Yeah.
And some of that would be ticket pricing.
They've decided here, Simon, to come in and offer a few crumbs off the table because of the backlash they were getting.
Maybe. But the problem is, Jim, is what do we think it will do? It'll offer out 100,000 tickets out of the 6.5 million tickets that are available. And it'll be what it'll be. And you might get a little bit more of a concession. You might get another 100,000 out of them. You might get another 200,000 out of them.
Yeah.
But their predominant motivation is, I think that if you watch elite sports, it comes with an elite price tag. I'm sorry, you don't have a God-given right. There's 9 billion people on this planet, of which 7 billion are football fans. There's only 65,000 seats available for the World Cup final. It comes at a price tag that even I wouldn't pay, irrespective of people say, oh, you got me, but you can say that. No, I wouldn't pay for it. I sent my father all the way through, God rest his soul, to the World Cup final in 2002, and I know what I paid, and it was bloody expensive 23 years ago. So let's not lose sight of the fact that the World Cup final was one of those rare occasions in the pantheon of football matches that most people in the world can't see and can't afford to see.
It is a scandal, but the problem is, why people pay and fill the stadiums, the greed won't stop. And that's, you know, I mean, it's, I don't know, you can compare.
Where is the greed?
Well, the greed by anybody. It's like people, you know, the flights on school holidays to go on holiday, all of a sudden, it's the same principle.
But again, then you're right, Danny, they ramp them up.
Yeah, but hold on, that's the capitalist society we live in. What's the alternative?
Whilst I agree in principle, because I've got children, so it infuriates me, right? Surge pricing is a phenomenon. What do you want then? Average pricing during the whole year, or very cheap pricing when you want to fly and it's cheaper, and then more expensive flying when there's a surge period.
Average all year.
So then you pay the same net price.
The fact that Simon, the FIFA have had to come in here and do this, I think it comes off the table, but it's something. 45 quid, 1,000 tickets per game at 45 quid. And
what's a gesture?
Keir Starmer, I think, is right. I welcome FIFA's announcement of some lower-priced fans tickets. But as someone who used to save up for England tickets, and there are many people...
Here we go, the son of a toolmaker.
There are many people listening to this show this morning out there, and if you want to call in and tell me I'm right or tell me I'm wrong, please do. Many people at the moment have been saving up and still are saving up to get themselves over to the States next year, and it's their dream and to go to on a one-off basis to see a World Cup match. And Starmer is saying, I encourage FIFA to do more, to make tickets more affordable.
Given he's the biggest dream killer.
Because they have an absolute obligation to do that, in my view. It's their tournament.
Yeah.
It's the biggest tournament in town.
Yeah.
It's going to be bigger and better than ever.
Yeah.
They build it up and build it up and build it up, and the man in the street thinks, geez, I'd love to go to that. And is saving up for it. And he deserves to be there.
Curiosity. And I don't disagree with any of that, because it's a nice little emotive plea. But I also look at the reality of a country that's underfunded in its grassroots football, and the individual federations get huge amounts of money being donated to them by FIFA as a result of the World Cup. If I'm a person that wants my kid to play on 4G pitches and be able to have the facilities that this country, by the way, should have as a matter of course, and it gets it from World Cup levies, I'll tell you what, I'll accept the bigger picture of my little dream to go to the World Cup rather than having my son and the next generation of young people in this country having the kind of facilities they should have anyway.
But why is it suddenly 7 times more expensive to fund the game than it was 4 years ago?
What do you think?
I'm asking you. You're the one that knows all about the
but why do you think it is? Because it's not a difficult question. Because the cost of football has become so exorbitant in terms of what people expect to get from it, what the beneficiaries of the game, expect to charge for being participants in it, what the cost implications of running football clubs are, what the infrastructure cost of football has now become because everyone sees it as a commercial opportunity. But all of those things, in the same way, is why do we have inflation? Why would it cost Daniel Levy £1 billion to build a stadium in London when now probably costing £3 billion if he's building it now? It's the nature of the beast. The cost implications of things spiral. FIFA, this is an unashamed financial grab. Now the question is it
unashamed financial grab on FIFA's part?
Of course, but here's the question.
I'm glad you said that.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
It's capitalism and
unashamed.
Why should it be ashamed?
So they have
They're
no
not hiding
shame.
it.
So they have no shame.
They're not. No, let me finish the sentence. When we talk about greed, who's the greedy people? Where's the money going? If the money isn't finding its way in the not-for-profit structure that the FIFA is supposed to be, which is why getting people like Bear Square come up and keep them honest, make sure that they're doing their jobs, make sure the money is distributed properly. If Gianni Infantino is drawing £50 million a year salary, getting all the benefits, and all the parties in FIFA are getting benefits left, right, and centre, and the game isn't benefiting, then let's put the greed on it. It's like when football club owners charge more money for it, and their football club is 25 million a year. Who's greedy?
I get that. Hold on. You and I, we've all been to tournaments, and when people are always down, places they stay, with the way they live their lives when they're rolling around.
They're not going to stay in a Premier League.
No, but there's a balance. They say that it's like the royal families are around.
Oh, so when the BBC or anyone else goes to different places, they don't rent nice hotels on taxpayers' money.
In comparison to FIFA, you're having a laugh. The cars they roll around in, the meetings they have all over Europe and all over the world, and fly people in and have a week somewhere in Mauritius for a silly meeting.
Yeah.
The money ain't all coming back.
And if the money is going back into the game, Simon, you can't call this an unashamed money grab.
I can.
If it's not, what? If it's going back into the game?
I think it's an unashamed money grab.
It's either for the good of the game or it's not.
I think it's an unashamed money grab when Bruno Fernandes trots out a load of old tripe about how much
Bing, bang, bing, bang, bing.
Why are they releasing the £45 when us poor people have already had to pay for the tickets that are available? It's not
Well, you can thank people like Jim White for that.
it's late.
So you've already committed, Eric, at $440 a game. Is that right? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, so it's $440 for 2 value tickets for the England-Panama game in New York.
Right.
So you have to put your card details down, and if we win, that money's going to come out of our accounts already. So we can't really get out of that now. So why are they releasing the £45 tickets when most people have already had to go through that route
But
anyway?
I would assume there must be a ticket differentiation, mate, in terms of the seats that you're likely to be in and the nosebleeds that people at £45 are going to be in.
Well, I bought the value ticket, the cheapest ones available. What we thought was the cheapest ones available.
Yeah.
But now apparently they're releasing £45 tickets.
Well, what it does prove to me, Eric, that this is indeed a reaction by FIFA against the backlash from before, because they had to be seen to do something, and they're doing something, and maybe you're a victim of going early.
Can I ask you if you're aware? Surely the English FA will have a say in how these tickets are delegated because of the so many fans and members now, and earn points. Earn points based on the amount of England games.
Yeah. So you prove anything, Eric?
Well, we've gone for the random ones. So I'm not obviously the supporter and stuff, the skills and stuff like that. I've just gone for the ones that you have to bid for. So, I'm just a bit missed how they can now release cheaper tickets. That guy that's paid £45 is going to be sat next to me.
I would imagine the people who are paying £45 will be selected by the English FA. They'll take over those tickets. I would imagine.
It's such a small percentage.
Such a small percentage, and it will be the people, I hope, who've committed the most time to watching England and got the most points.
It's a poor help. You doing your Walker Smith Pound for People bit has got him out of a situation where he's paid £400 gone worth of ticket and he's watching people £45.
Eric can always resell in the resale site, can't he?
And then took the lottery of being 1,000 tickets that are available to a whole raft of members.
There's a resale site. Go for it, Eric. Simon, big England fan. Good morning. What do you want to say about this?
Simon, that's me.
That's you, Simon. Good morning.
I'm not a big England fan. I'm just ringing up on Gareth because I don't really buy the issue here in national team, but I'm ringing up on the issues that you're raising. Yeah. And apart from Simon, who I disagree with absolutely through life, because I'm a socialist, we live in a capitalist society, and for some reason, you Danny, when it comes to football, it's going to become socialist. If you put that same argument, I can't afford to go to the dentist, but you don't come up and say that. I can't afford to go on the certain holidays you go on, but you're not interested then. As soon as it comes to football, and I can't afford to go, you want to be a socialist. And I'd like to say, Simon's right, because we live in a capitalist society, and it's a capitalist organisation. I support City of Liverpool, which is a lower league team. It's like right down in the pyramid.
It's a not-for-profit organisation, Simon. It's not a capitalist organisation.
The reason I do that is because I can't afford to go to the game at Liverpool then. But you're not interested until it's football.
No, that's not true. That's absolutely not true. If I think this way about this matter, I think this way about other matters that would pertain to you as well. You know.
But then you have to support the idea of getting rid of a capitalist society, and you don't.
I don't think it goes that deep, does it, Simon? What I do support is many tickets priced at 45 quid for, yes, the greatest show on earth that people presumably, like your good self, would love to go and see.
That's a good point. You sat in Sky for years watching the pricing go up to the end user because Sky is a capitalist business that was paying billions and billions of billions of pounds to develop football, but you didn't seem to be concerned about the price point.
And you spent 10 years at Crystal Palace.
Well, I'm a capitalist.
Putting up the price of shirts in the club shop.
I'm a capitalist.
I don't
have an issue with it.
I am certainly a capitalist.
I have no issue with it.
Yeah.
Responsible capitalism is a good thing. Irresponsible is bad.
This is capitalism for what people are doing. We know and there's nothing you can do to change it. That's just the way it is. And I said before, and I'll say it again, what's the other option?
I thought FIFA were not for profit.
What's the other option?
I thought FIFA were not for profit. But they are they capitalists? What are they? They're run under. I'll tell you. They're run under the capitalist mantra because their job is to fund and develop the football around the world, which means